very glad to be here. Thank you to invite me here in Portugal Criativo. I still wonder exactly why I was invited here, in fact, because I'm coming from a little town in France, perhaps well known from specific activities, named Angoulême in southwest of France. I'm not part of the local authorities or cultural officials, but they asked me to come here because perhaps they think my way to live in this town is a good example to show you today. I don't know. So this town is well known because there is a famous international festival there about comic books. It's a very old festival. I used to go there when I was a kid. I'm 50 years old now. So I don't used to live there when I was a kid. I live in Bordeaux, which is not so far. But perhaps it's a good example because this first festival, comic book, was very small at the beginning, and then it grew up, and the town considered it was a very good opportunity for it to make something with the cultural way via comic books. So nowadays, I think it's the main activity of the town. I'm not sure, but I'm not an official, so I don't have numbers. But I have read yesterday that Angoulême and Cognac, they are about 50,000 inhabitants, so it's not so big. They are the only town in France which are not growing up. So it's not a good health in terms of economic activity because the population stayed the same number. It means it's not very good, but at the same time, comic books and also animated films and schools and about images, etc., are one of the most big activity in France, after Paris, of course. In France, every activity, cultural activity, is known as you have to be in Paris if you want to become someone, if you want to have a career, if you want to work. So perhaps now it's a new deal because many people, they come to Angoulême to work on animated films or video games or TV shows, etc. So when I was a student, a pupil, I was told to choose mathematics if I had to have a if I wanted to have a profession after when I worked. So I don't listen to them, and my passion was already when I was very, very small was to draw. So first I consider myself as an artist or a drawer or a belas artist, I don't know. And this was my first activity, and all my studies focus on this. Then I became a teacher for a child, a drawing teacher, but I was too young, I think, and it was not my passion, because my passion was to create something, not to teach, but I couldn't teach something I could not practice. So then I go to Paris, of course, because this was the place to make something, and I meet animated films, and I decide to work here. And it was a good success because I stayed in Paris 18 years, with no economic problem, work every time. And then a production proposed to me to be a director on a feature film. That was a great opportunity. But I had for this to go in Angoulême. I had to leave Paris with my family and to, at least for 3 years, live in Angoulême. So I was not sure because Paris, I have full job there, all my friends, all my producers. But the feature film was a really good one, and I wanted to do it. So I go in this small town, Angoulême. And here, I meet many people of my same sensibility. I could work on a big film. And after the end of the film, I decided to stay here because there was not only activities, but also schools. So I was asked to be a teacher in the animation school of Angoulême, which is a famous one, named EMCA, E-M-C-A. I used to teach already because of my work in Les Gobelins in Paris, which is one of the big school of animation, and also in La Poudrière at Valence, which is also a directing school or school to become a director in animation. But in Angoulême, I had the opportunity to meet the director, Christian Arnaud, who proposed me to carte blanche. I could propose the pedagogy I wanted. So I began to work with the students and to help them to make films during the school, which was not very easy before I came. So I'm not very good with PowerPoint presentation, but I have bring with me some examples of films. So if you like it, I can show you part of them. Perhaps we could begin with the first one, but not yet, please. I have to present it. So it's called Black Tea, and this I just show it as an example of my work because I have to talk of my work as a teacher, and then we'll talk about my third profession, which is producer, and I make film as a producer too. So the first example is one of my last very short film, easy one, called Black Tea, and it's a reflection about what makes us fear about things. So I wanted to analyze this, and I chose something very ordinary, which is not scary, the less scary as possible, and I chose a cup of tea. Cup of tea is not scary, but perhaps it could be, so my character is very scary of it. My problematic as an author was at the very beginning to mix art process, personal expression, and not business, but industrial method or industrial pool, because perhaps it's the same in Portugal. I don't know the activities with animated films, but in France and in the world, we could say 90% of the activity is about child. Oh yes, it's okay. But I finished my this. The main production are only for child. So we work with TV, we work for feature film, but we can't very much express ourselves because we are not considered like as an adult production, adult expression. So we are part of like book for child, comic books. It was the problem of comic books 20 years ago. Now it's not. But the animated film, it's a specific profession with that kind of problem between money and art. So to myself, I try to respond to this problematic, and to mix the two. It's not easy. Some prefer to go to the industrial way and to make money and to have profession, to have jobs, of course. So I have the problem as an author, but I have the same problem when I teach to the students, of course. Because some of them, they want to come and to be part of an art school, but after the school they have to work. So we need to teach them both, I think. I prefer to educate them than to make them professional.
Et puis écorche les racines avec leur petite pioche avant de s'attaquer à l'os. Monstrueux.
Bon. Le thé, ça vient de Chine, non? De la province du Yangtze, du Yunnan, ou de Cebu, avec de la pneumopathie atypique. Ouais, je sais. Vous savez avec une moisie. Elle m'a dit que je te les sèche, elle m'a dit que je les remouille, que je dors dans les tendeurs, rendez-moi, et que ça pousse au milieu des cochons malades, on les cueillit avec des doigts couverts de lisier pour enrichir des importateurs véreux, et qui nous vendent ça 100 fois plus cher, et qui détournent la loi à cause de l'ouverture des frontières. Et nous, nous sommes gâtés quoi. C'est empoisonné. Et tout ça par une minuscule, une banale, une minable, une tasse de thé. Mais j'ai pris que canner, tranquille, calme. Ce qu'il faut se dire, c'est qu'il y a quelques milliards d'êtres humains qui envoient du thé. Et ils ne parlent de rien, apparemment. J'ai aussi très peur des pigeons. Les pigeons, ça a l'air inoffensif, comme ça. Regardez! Ils prennent dans les ordures. Et ils peuvent plus voler. Ils ont plein d'années de gigogrennes normaux. Ils mangent leur propre viande. Leurs plumes sont poussiéreuses. Ils se dévorent même entre eux. Et aussi leurs canards.
So it's not a, of course, it's not a very commercial production. It's a very individual work, and with very easy method, easy technique. So I do it alone with paper and pencil. I do it. I could ask for money, or I could have a big production, but I prefer sometimes to work. It's not very ambitious, but it's a personal expression. That's it. In Angoulême, there is so these big activities, and there is also the local authorities. They create a space for subvention, give money to when someone wants to work on animation in the town, he can ask money to the region. That's the reason why many companies, even from Paris or other, they came and they opened a filiale here. So it's a way to make the cultural activity and the business activity mixed together. Because even short films can have the benefit of this. The rules are very easy, so if you are, now I'm a producer too, though I know the subject. If you want to make a film, you just have to say how much money you will spend here in the town. And the region will give you, for €1 to spend here, they will give you another one. So it's a good opportunity. But it means you have to find money in another place and to spend it here. So sometimes it's not easy. At the beginning, when I began to produce my first film as producer, I had the help of the region, but I had no money else, so I could not get it. And I had to produce the first film with nothing. In France, I don't know if you know the situation of the movie. There is a good opportunity of making films because of this system. So you have 3 ways to have the budget. You can ask a TV channel if they are interested. They don't give so much, but they can give a quarter of the main, the total. And then you ask the CNC, which is the
2 minutes. 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
2 millions? No. They give much. They give much, but they help everything. They help all the TV shows, all the specials, all the movie, the features, and also the shorts, and also documentaries, etc. It's a very huge system. And every producer in France are asking them many things. And so the TV, the CNC, and then the local subvention. So there are some in Angoulême, but there are some in all the regions in France. So with these 3 sources, you can make films. That's it. But it's not so wonderful, because to be helped, you have to propose some kind of films. You can't be helped for anything, so it's not official, but some kind of films of some kind of expression cannot be helped so easily because they are too far from not an official point of view, but I will say because all this system works with commissions of professional, administration, etc. The method of the commission helps some kind of films. Because, for example, if I present a very experimental film with no dialogues, it's very difficult to explain them what is the film. We just have some papers with writing, some drawings, but there is no script, no dialogues. Perhaps the graphism is particular, is special, so I will not be helped. But perhaps this film will be the best of my opportunities, I don't know. So it's the same problem with documentary, for example. It's not so easy to be helped. And with some kind of expression like underground or ideological, political point of view, etc. So I can realize when I go to Annecy, for example, which is the town where there is the biggest festival for animated films, then every short films, there are many. When I began, there were very few feature and very few short. Now there are many, there are hundreds of films. But many of them, look not the same, but in the same way of expression. So this is perhaps the limit of the system. We could see the third one, please.
No.
Which is called
Il faut terminer.
Or just few seconds? If you please. This is exactly the example I was talking about. This film get international career, and we could not have €1 to produce it. So the author, they work alone to do it. So you can say stop if you want. Very poetic and expressive way of making animation, but it's not traditional. It's a computer work, of course, but not only. So it's a kind of experimental images. I think it's real art. Thank you.
Thank you.